As you can see, this projector is shining directly onto the wall. So what I'd like to do is build a frame and put up a projector screen. And I did this for around 40 bucks. So let's go ahead and get started. This is the projector screen that I ended up buying. I'll put the link down below in the description for you. Now the projector came with these sticky backed hooks. And you'll take those hooks and go ahead and attach them to the wall. Start with one side of the projector screen first, and you're basically going to put up the projector screen on these hooks, making sure that the projector screen itself is stretched extremely tight. This will get all the wrinkles out and make sure your screen looks really nice. And you're going to want to turn on your projector to test this out. Make sure your projector's image is inside the white part of the projector screen. Now before you attach the hooks and stretch this thing out, you want to make sure it's positioned in a way that the projector image, so when you turn on the projector itself, shines only on the white part. And we're going to be putting our framing around the projector image, but well enough away from the black exterior part of the projector screen. And the reasoning for this is because we're going to be removing all this excess once we have the frame up. Now when I say frame, that implies that the projector screen is dependent upon the frame. It's not really a frame. I just went to the hardware store and bought some trim, 4 8-foot sections, and I made some 45-degree cuts with my miter saw. Now remember, measure twice and cut once. Once your trim is all cut, you're ready to adhere it to the wall. And you can put it right over the projector screen. And just use a couple nails just to make sure your frame or your trim is secured to the wall. And once you're happy with the positioning of your frame, you can go ahead and secure it about every 4 to 5 inches or so. And you want to use plenty of nails all around the trim to make sure that that projector screen does not move. You got to make sure that's attached to the wall. And now we're going to enter the point of no return. You need an X-Acto knife, and you're going to remove all the excess projector screen that's protruding from around the trim. And again, before you cut, make sure that projector screen is solidly attached to the wall with plenty of nails that go through your frame or your trim. And I recommend you have a brand new blade for the X-Acto knife to make nice clean cuts. My cuts were not so clean, but I nonetheless got it. And I can go ahead now and remove the excess from the hooks. The X-Acto knife works pretty well to pop those hooks off. They're extremely sticky, but you might lose a little paint in the process. Alright, we're getting closer to finishing up here. This is what it looks like after you remove all the excess. You can see the screen is nice and taut, and the excess is removed, although there's a little bit of fraying happening. The X-Acto knife that I had was not extremely sharp, and to remedy this I'm going to take some white caulking and I'm going to run this in the edge between the wall and the trim as shown here. Now it's not a huge gap, so it doesn't take very much, but I'm just going to kind of slide it back and forth like this. And I'm just going to smooth it out here. And there may be a little bit of fraying protruding from the wet caulking as I run my finger through here, or maybe some gaps. I'm not going to stress too much about that now. If I'm not happy with this look the first time, I'll wait for it to dry and then put another layer of, or another beating of caulking on it after. But I am going to make sure none of this caulking dries in areas that it shouldn't dry, because it's going to be a real pain to get rid of later. It's easier to just wipe it off now. And here's another look at the absolutely horrible job my X-Acto knife did while cutting. But you can see the screen is still in place, which is good, but there's just some ugly fraying that needs to be taken care of. So again, I'm going to take the caulking gun here and apply a small bead to cover it up. And I'm just dropping my finger pretty slowly here, making sure that all that gets into the gaps and the little holes in there. So nice and smooth. And this is really making a night and day difference. Of course, I'll have to go back and do some touch-up painting once this is dried. But this basically just gets rid of all the fraying that you see. Alright, now I just need to cover up the nail heads that I put in the trim. And so I'm just going to take some spackling and put a little bit in the hole and just wipe off the rest. Alright, and here's the final product here. Let's go ahead and turn on the projector. And we'll kill the lights. And there it is. Job is complete.